That thought you're running from right now? The one that claws at your ribs when the world sleeps. Tonight, we let it speak. It starts not as a thought, but as a taste. A metallic tang on the back of your tongue, like you've been sucking on an old coin. It's the flavor of a truth you've tried to swallow, but it won't go down. It just sits there, a cold, hard weight in your gut. You lie there in the blue hour dark, the silence so absolute it becomes a noise of its own, a high-pitched hum in the center of your skull. And in that hum, the images flicker. Not memories, not quite. Ghosts of choices not made. Echoes of a person you thought you were supposed to be. This is the quiet place where your excuses die, and all that's left is the real. And the real is a brutal, beautiful blade. Let's press it to the skin. I want you to picture a girl, not a woman. A girl. She is 20. The world is not a place to her. It is a sensation. It is the heat of asphalt through thin shoe soles, the dizzying spin of a fairground ride, the sound of a bass line that seems to beat in time with her own frantic pulse. She is a creature of nerve endings, all of them exposed, raw, and singing. And she is drawn, like a moth to a naked flame, to the heat. She falls for the boy with lightning in his eyes and chaos in his smile. The one whose hands are never still, who speaks in riddles and promises that evaporate by morning. He is the human embodiment of a storm warning. You can feel the pressure drop when he enters a room. He doesn't text back for days. His presence is a sporadic, violent gift. He will show up at her door at 3 a.m., smelling of night air rebellion, and pull her into an adventure that has no destination. He will kiss her with a kind of desperate fury, as if trying to consume her very soul, and she will mistake this consumption for passion. She will cry in bathroom stalls, her mascara painting black tears down her cheeks, and she will call this pain. She will lie to her friends. She will make excuses for him. She will twist her own reality into a pretzel to justify the glorious, exhilarating free fall of his affection. The uncertainty is the point. The pain is the proof. It has to hurt this much to be this real, doesn't it? He's a poem written in a language she doesn't quite understand, but the sound of the words is so beautiful, she doesn't care about the meaning. He offers her nothing. No security, no plan, no tomorrow. And that is his greatest offering. He offers her the dizzying freedom of a life with no floor. To her, at 20, that feels like flying. He is the thrill, the charm, the one who makes her heart race, even if he never, ever stays. Now let the film dissolve. Let the years bleed through the frame. She is 30. The girl is gone, and in her place is a woman. The world is no longer a sensation. It is a structure. It is a spreadsheet, a mortgage application, a doctor's note, a retirement plan. The nerve endings are no longer raw. They have been calloused over by a decade of mornings after, of missed promotions, of friends who faded, of bills that arrived in plain white envelopes. The high-pitched hum of silence has been replaced by a low, constant thrum of responsibility. She is tired. A tiredness that has nothing to do with sleep and everything to do with the cumulative weight of carrying her own existence. She meets a man. He does not have lightning in his eyes. He has a steady, calm gaze. He does not smell of night air. He smells of clean laundry and, sometimes, of the wood varnish from the bookshelf he is building. He does not show up at 3 a.m. He texts to confirm dinner for 7:30, and he arrives at 7:28. He remembers her mother's name. He has a 5-year plan, and it has spreadsheets. When he kisses her, it is not a desperate attempt at consumption. It is a promise of presence. It is gentle. It is sure. It is nice. There are no tears in bathroom stalls. There is no glorious, heart-shattering pain. There is instead a profound and unsettling peace. And in the quiet of that peace, she sometimes lies awake and misses the storm. She misses the boy who was a poem. She looks at this good man, this stable, reliable, kind man sleeping beside her, and she feels a pang of something that is not quite regret, but is a cousin to grief. The spark is gone. The wildfire has been replaced by a pilot light. Reliable, constant, safe. And a part of her, the ghost of that 20-year-old girl, wonders if safe is just another word for dead. This is not a story about a woman being shallow. This is not a story about her being a gold digger. This is a story about gravity. The 20-year-old girl is in orbit, spinning wildly in the zero gravity of possibility. The 30-year-old woman has landed. She has felt the pull of the earth. She understands the weather now. She knows that a storm, for all its dramatic beauty, washes away the soil and leaves the roots exposed. A pilot light can cook a meal, heat a home, sustain a life. A wildfire only destroys. It's not about right or wrong. It's about how reality reshapes desire. Desire, at 20, is a wild, untamed thing. It is the desire for experience, for intensity, for the proof that one is truly, madly, dangerously alive. It is emotion, pure and unchecked. Desire, at 30, is a different animal. It has been tamed by the whip of experience. It is the desire for a partner, for a teammate. It is the desire for a man who will not flinch when the roof leaks, when the child is sick, when the stock market dips. It is the desire for a foundation upon which a life can be built, not a spectacle that will burn itself out. The desire for emotion is replaced by the desire for peace. The desire for a poem is replaced by the desire for a blueprint. This is the harsh truth the fairy tales never told you. Love is not always fair. It is strategic. The world does not reward the dreamer for long. It rewards the builder. It rewards the survivor. And so, it teaches her, through 1,000 small cuts and disappointments, to love with logic, not with emotion. To choose the partner who represents survival, not just sensation. It teaches her that a heart that races is a heart that can fail, while a heart that beats a steady, reliable rhythm is a heart that can endure. She learns to trade the ecstasy of the unpredictable for the profound comfort of the certain. She is not selling her soul. She is investing in her future. She is choosing the oak tree over the firework. And who in their right mind, having seen a few winters, would choose to build their house in a firework display? And that, right there, is the lesson. The lesson for every man who has ever felt the sting of rejection, the cold confusion of not being chosen, the hollow ache of begging for a love that was always just out of reach. The lesson is this: you have been playing the wrong game. You thought the game was about love. You thought if you could just find the right words, make the right grand gesture, feel the right feeling intensely enough, you could win her heart. You were trying to compose a symphony for a woman who was, by that point, only listening for the steady, dependable hum of a generator. You were offering her a fireworks show when what she needed was a roof. Don't chase love. Build value. Because in this world, love follows power, respect, and purpose. It does not precede it. It is a consequence, not a cause. Think of it as a law of physics, as undeniable as gravity. A man who is adrift, who is uncertain of his own path, who seeks validation from a woman's affection, is a man generating a weak gravitational pull. He may be kind. He may be sweet. He may love with a desperate, aching intensity, but that intensity is a black hole. It sucks in all the light and gives nothing back. It is need, disguised as love. And need is repulsive. It is the scent of hunger. And no one wants to be someone else's meal. Now, picture a man of value. Not value defined by a bank statement, though competence with resources is a part of it. Value is a deeper currency. It is the value of a mind that is constantly learning, a body that is disciplined and strong, a spirit that is resilient. It is a man who commands respect in his world, not by demanding it, but by earning it through his actions. It is a man with a mission, a purpose that is so much bigger than the pursuit of a relationship. He is not a satellite orbiting a woman. He is a planet with his own gravity, his own atmosphere, his own path around the sun. A woman does not look at this man and think, "Can I love him?" She looks at him and thinks, "Could I be a part of that?" His world looks interesting. It looks solid. It looks like a world that could withstand storms. His love is not a desperate offering. It is a privileged invitation. He is not a beggar holding out an empty bowl. He is a king, and his affection is a jewel he can choose to bestow. This shifts the entire dynamic. The question is no longer, will she choose me? The question becomes, is she worthy of the life I am building? This is not about becoming arrogant or cold. It is about becoming rooted. It is about building a self that is so complete, so whole, that a relationship becomes an addition, not a completion. You are the prize. Your life is the prize. Your mission is the prize. So, how do you build this? How do you forge this unshakable version of yourself? You start by silencing the beggar within. You stop asking the world, "Do you want me?" You start telling the world, "This is who I am." You trade the craving for external validation for the relentless pursuit of internal integrity. You build your body, not for vanity, but for vessel. You make it strong, capable, resilient. You learn to respect it, to fuel it, to push it. The discipline required to transform your physical form seeps into your mind. You learn that you are capable of enduring short-term discomfort for long-term gain. This is a fundamental truth that applies to every facet of life. You build your mind. You read books that challenge you. You learn skills that are useful. You stare at complex problems until they break apart and reveal their secrets. You become a person of substance, a man who can navigate the world with competence and confidence. You become the one who has answers, not just questions. You find your purpose. This is the North Star. What is the thing you would do even if you were never paid for it? What is the problem you feel compelled to solve? What is the legacy, however small, that you wish to leave scratched upon the face of this earth? Your purpose is your anchor. It is what grounds you when the storms of emotion and circumstance rage. It is the reason you get out of bed on the days when you feel nothing. A man without a purpose is a ship adrift, and every passing current, every gust of wind can knock him off course. A man with a purpose is a naval destroyer, cutting through the waves, headed for a destination. You build your respect. You do this by keeping your word every single time. You set boundaries not as walls to keep people out, but as markers of self-respect that define how you allow others to treat you. You walk away from situations and people who disrespect your time, your energy, or your values, not with drama, but with a quiet final turn of the heel. This is the alchemy. You are no longer the raw, bleeding ore. You are the smelter, the hammer, the anvil. You are forging yourself in fire and force. And what emerges is something of immense value. Something that cannot be easily replicated. Something rare. And then, a fascinating thing happens. You stop thinking about love altogether. You are so engrossed in your own becoming, so consumed by your mission, so invested in your own growth, that the desperate need for a woman's approval simply evaporates. It is replaced by a quiet, unshakable confidence. You know what you bring to the table. You are no longer afraid to eat alone. This is the man you must become. The man who doesn't beg to be chosen. The man she can't afford to lose. When you are this man, your very presence is a test. It tests a woman's own depth, her own ambition, her own capacity for being a true partner. The women who are still chasing the storm, the chaos, the poem boys, they will simply float away. They will find you boring or intimidating, and you will let them go with a quiet blessing, because they are not for you. They are still in orbit, and you have built your home on solid ground. But the woman who sees you, the woman who is also a builder, who also understands the weight of the world and the value of a strong foundation, she will be drawn to you. not out of pity, not out of a savior complex, not out of a desperate need to be completed. She will be drawn to you out of respect, out of a recognition of a kindred spirit. She will look at your life, your mission, your strength, your peace, and she will think, I want to build my castle next to his. Together, we can create a kingdom. Her love for you will not be a fragile, flighty thing based on a fleeting emotion. It will be a conscious, strategic, and deeply respectful choice. It will be a love rooted in admiration for who you are and what you represent. It will be a love that endures because it is built on the bedrock of your value, not the shifting sands of your need for her. This is the final liberating truth. The harshness is not in the world's cruelty, but in its impeccable, unforgiving logic. It does not care about your feelings. It responds to your value. It does not reward your dreams. It rewards your execution. The universe is not a romantic. It is a master craftsman, and it only honors well-made things. So let the thought speak. Let it say its terrible, beautiful name. Let it tell you that you have been waiting for a rescue that was never coming. Let it tell you that the love you crave is not something you find, but something you become worthy of through the relentless, daily act of building yourself. The boy chases love and remains a boy, forever pleading, forever wondering why he is left behind. The man builds value, and love, in its many forms, becomes the natural, inevitable consequence of a life well lived. Stop begging for a seat at a table that does not value you. Instead, build your own table, your own feast, in your own great hall. And then, see who is worthy of an invitation. The choice, finally, will not be hers. It will be yours. And that is the only thought that matters.